Well, welcome back to my little game development section of my man cave. My little war room part of my man cave. We're down here, we've been brainstorming, getting a lot of ideas. All kinds of ideas. And the thing of it is, once they start flowing, it's hard to stop. Only thing that stopped me from making this a 24/7 project is life. So, you gotta stop and everything. We had a nice little Super Bowl bash like yesterday. Didn't win no money. I was bet heavily on the Kansas City defense. It should have been the 49er defense, I think, performed better. But at the beginning of that game, the old daddy was in the money. But later on, the old girlfriend, too, was watching it. She was looking at her score. She played a couple teams. And she's like, "You're doing real good." And I'm like, "Nah, go ahead." And DraftKings, you'll be doing real good 5 seconds before the game if you're still winning money. So, yeah, it goes quick. But I did do good. I made my entry fees back and more. So that's what it's all about. But we're back here. I want to show you a little bit of what we've been brainstorming about. If you've been watching any of my concepts about this game, you'll know that it wants to start off in the city of Gettysburg, because this is Lee's Retreat, and we're wanting to simulate that somehow before we moved on to the main strategic map. I didn't know if I wanted to use the hex encounter system for more of a zoomed-in feature for the tactical area around Gettysburg, or what. We floated a couple ideas around. And as a matter of fact, this game I can make this game 2 or 3 different ways. That's kind of neat. I mean, I got ideas about area movement and maybe a big tactical map, hex encounter tactical map at Gettysburg. But anyway, we're going with this. This is where my thought process is taking me. So, like I said, the game is going to start in Gettysburg. Hold you off here. And there you go. We got our Gettysburg map ready to go. Now let me explain the situation here the day after the battle. And that's why I picked this map, because it depicts it very good. These are the positions Lee has withdrawn his troops to, I guess overnight and everything after the battle. You can imagine all these areas here probably had wounded out in the battlefield still, people coming and getting them. Fires going, troops exhausted, wounded. After a battle, you're pretty well post-traumatic stress syndrome for the rest of your life, much less the day after. So you can imagine what's going on here. Campfires, all that stuff. Then you got the Union over here on their good old fish hook. So they're taking it easy. Don't know when the attack's going to come again. Meade was under the impression that it wasn't over. He was always fearing the war, so, the legend of Lee definitely worked. He was in Meade's head, and Meade was afraid that old Robert E. Lee, the legend, was going to come after him again, but he little did he know, Lee suffered a major defeat. Lee knew halfway through Pickett's charge, he was sending couriers with orders to get things ready for the retreat. So that's where my game begins. Here we are, Union on the fish hook, and the Confederates along this ridge. Now we're going to kind of abstractly simulate what goes on here, because you can see there's no hexes on this. And we're going to do that this way. This area here with the ridge and the Confederates are going to be on this side of the map. Oop, wrong one. But here you go. This part of the map will be broken off into 2 sections here. These are units that are getting on the road and getting out of town. And this is a ridge. The units in this box will be represented. You can see I got arrows pointed. There'll be a representation of all the units on this ridge here. And we got our breastworks that Lee had his engineers build overnight. A few pieces of the Confederate artillery. Now, I do have a couple of my pieces here, and the only difference is these pieces here will be flipped over to their X side. I don't have them completed yet. These are a couple of important pieces. These will be worth probably the game if you can get these units here over the Potomac and make their escape. You'll have rebel units here. They'll all be flipped over. And the thing of it is, this is a pip system, so a lot of these rebel units will be 3, 2, and 1 pips. I don't know how many of them I distributed to strength yet, looking at our strength tables. We got some of them made up, but then over here, we got the abstraction of the Union fishhooks box. And you can see they got their breastworks there along, and that's represented of the units around here. They got their breastworks too, and the artillery. You can see though, they definitely outnumber artillery too. There's going to be ammo limitations. We'll have an ammunition track too, because you just can't be willy-nilly and firing all your ammo. You have to conserve and use it wisely. All right, then you can move units from this fishhook box when they want to get going. If I can get my pencil, there you go, onto the road south box. So that is how we are going to abstract that. Now, I got another treat for you, because we're going to do a playthrough. We got the mechanics down and everything for this little start off of the game, and we're going to start off a little Robert E. Lee is trapped and must be taken. The first moves and how the game will begin. We got it all written down here. We've been brainstorming, and I'm excited about it. I really am. This is good. This is going to be a great game. So let me take a little break here, make sure I got everything ready, and we'll be right back with a little bit of opening moves and how this game will begin. All right, so you'll have all your brigades. I guess you could, we haven't decided how many will be on the road after they're all going to be start off here. I think they're all going to have to start off here on the ridge. And I think there's probably going to be about 10 or so counters in here. Like I said, I haven't got those made up yet. We got a few of these here. And that shows you pretty much the concept of what's going on. These counters are really nice in size. And they fit well onto the hexes, but man, I think they're kind of big. So I don't know. I like the way I could have the illustrations on them. You know, it gives them a lot of room for everything we need. So we might keep them at this size, but like I said, this is all preliminary. What else was I going to say too? Oh yeah, I don't think there's going to be many Union deception counters. There's no really reason for that. I think I got one of these as a deception. Yeah, here you go. I don't know if this is going to be used all that much, because the deception counters are really part of the rebel game plan. But we're just showing you that to see what's, give you a little example of what's going on. So then, all the units are sitting here. It's the next day. Dawn has risen, and Robert E. Lee knows he has to get his troops on the road and out of town. So the first thing we'll be doing is Union. Union rolls first. We're going to have what's called a recon roll. Recon roll starts the game. Recon roll, reconnoitering roll, reconnaissance roll, whatever you want to call it. All right. Now this roll by the Union will represent their Union intelligence report strength. So this is the number of intelligence reports that you're going to get. How strong your intelligence is. Meade wants to find out what the hell's going on back here. Nobody's moved yet. Day after the battle, Meade's Mr. Timid, Mr. Scaredy Cat of the legend, Robert E. Lee. So he's a little timid. To represent that timidity, or whatever it is, he'll be rolling with a -3 die roll modifier on this very first turn. Now it goes down on turn 2. It's a -2, and every turn after that, it's only a -1. But this very first turn, he's shitting his pants, thinking that the storm's about to come back to the hook. So here you go. Here's his first recon roll. Want a high roll in this game. This game's all about high rolls. All right, that's not a bad recon roll. All right, that's the Union recon roll. This roll here is the Confederates are going to answer back. And this roll here is going to represent Confederate deceptions, intercepted reports, and dummies posted along the ridge. And if you ever look at my videos, I'm doing a bunch of videos where I'm posting a bunch of stuff about my favorite war movies. And one of them was 1864. You can see on this one fortress where they did exactly that. They had dummies set on it. I guess from far away you can't tell until you get close. But there you go. This will be the recon roll for the Confederates. Looking for a high roll. Ooh, and they don't get it. All right. So now I gotta read this stuff because it's been a while. All right. So if the Union wins, all right, the Union wins the initiative or the recon roll. Oh, they had a -3 though, so it's still 6. So even with the Union -3 die roll modifier, they still win. So nothing's in stone. That's part of this mechanic. The mechanic's fine. And this is what goes on. Now, just for shits and grins, if the Confederates win, they got to roll for the number of units that can be activated, the number of brigades that can be activated. Not so for the Union. They got a different mechanic. If the Union wins, they got 3 choices, and this represents their whole army. All right. They can attack. There's the option of launching an attack against the breastworks and everything. Oh, they can reinforce, add pips to this. Now this is all, they can't do them all, they can only do one. They can reinforce, which is add pips, and there's a mechanic for that. Or they can hit the road, which means he's moving units from here to here, and he's got to make a certain criteria to get him on the road and get him heading south. So that's the 3 options. Now if he chooses to attack, he has the option of either attacking with his troops this way, or he can use his killer artillery advantage and start laying a barrage against this ridge. All right, now there is ammo limitations, so that'll come into effect too. Oh, let's just say, for shits and grins, he wants to have an artillery barrage. All right, so now we go over to this section of the rules. We got this all set up. I'm having a great time. Here, recommendation: make your own game. Have a great time. Heck with playing these things. If you're a good gamer and you know how to, whatever subject you got, take your time. And well, like I said, I'm off work for 2 months, so I can do this. But here you go. Okay, number 1. Here we go. Attacks in this game are bloody. They will have a lot of casualties. I'm not one with I have, and this is mostly in video games and stuff, but you'll have these lines of troops on each side firing at each other, and once every minute or so somebody will fall down. I mean, are they that bad of shots? No, man, they're hitting fucking flesh. They're putting lead into bodies. Things are bloody. You know, I think, and I'll say right now, it's a scourge of war game. You'll have guys standing there shooting each other. Maybe one body will drop within 5 or 6 minutes. I know it's a representation of when that body drops, maybe about 50 guys or 25 guys falling down, but still, I think casualties are a bit. So anyway, we're going to do an artillery attack. We don't want to come on up through here, and this is another part of the game too. You'll see right now that the Confederates don't like getting their troops pummeled with artillery. They don't. Number one, they don't have the ammunition or the number of artillery units that the Union had. So let me see here. Oh, Gettysburg map battle procedures. Attack. Oh, Union artillery barrage. Okay, they can attack or have an artillery barrage. Union's going to roll 2d6s. Artillery barrage. And number 1 is going to take up an artillery ammo, so it'll go from like 10 worth to 9. Or really, say something like that. Okay. So here's his artillery roll. You want to keep track of these too, I think. Maybe not so much in artillery attack, but in a regular attack, don't change these dice. It's really important what they come up with. So that's the Union. That's a shitty roll. That's not too good. So now the Confederates will answer back, and they got a chance to negate this if they can roll higher. You see what I'm coming at? So here's their roll. Oh, so defender always wins. So there you go here, and there you go here. So the Confederates lose 1 pip in that artillery attack. So then on all these units on the ridge, whoever's got like a 4 or 3 pip, so you could designate which one it'll be. You can see this effect. These guys are already down to a certain amount of pips. Oh, let me see. Here, if rebels suffer more than 2 brigades lost, they rout to the roads. They go to the roads, with the Union taking the rebel ridge position. All right, and then they can start a pursuit right on the rebels' heels. Other than that, if the rebels don't break and run, you got to hit this road and head out. So it's one of the good things about that artillery barrage. You can see here now with just this, the rebels don't want to be taking these hits and getting hit by artillery, so you might want to try to get your asses on out of there. There you go. All right, so that'll take care of the first action pulse or whatever of the Union. They're done. So now we go to the loser of the recon roll, and that is the rebels. All right. So now he's going to roll 1d6 to find out how many of these units on the ridge he can activate. He can activate 2 of them. That's not a good roll. It's not a good day for a rebel. All right. Now he'll have his 3 choices. He can reinforce, which is keep the units on the ridge, but move their units up to gain them a certain amount of pips. And that's a mechanic in that. He can move to the road. This is up here. You can see the roads coming out. I got them the roads are here because actually they will be heading out that way on the road here. And we have the ridge started, which is I think I got it pretty well set up. but the road for the Union is down here. They'll be wanting to go this way. So the roadblocks on the Union's down here. And then the ridge, this is representative of the fish hook. So reinforce, move to the road, or he could start bringing in some deception counters and moving his deception counters around. The Union player won't know if there's deception counters up here or if there's deception counters here. It's a big part of the game is the deception game for the Union. And we haven't really got that ironed out yet. We're just, I know I want to have deception as a big part of it. Now, whether the rebel, that will involve the rebel leader taking a unit here underneath the board, whipping it around, exchanging it with a, you want to do it out of sight. You know, I haven't thought about them two sides. I love the idea when they have these little cardboard, what do you call it, dividers, so the enemy can't see. So we might give them a little bit of a divider here, maybe a little bit of a little cardboard. Let me see here, you know, something that goes here that you can do your little work on. You see what I'm getting at. All right, so that's it. That is the opening mechanics. Now that'll keep on going until either the Union fishhooks box is empty of units or the ridge box is empty of units, and it'll be emptied by either being destroyed or, like I said, the main name of the game is deciding whether you want to reinforce, get on the road, or work with your deception. Somehow you got to do all three to get these units here onto this map and over to Potomac. So that's what we got going on. Now, if he wants to attack, we'll have here's another mechanic. You want to start bringing these troops around. We're going to do an attack against this. All right. Ooh, let me see. All right. Oh. Attack. Union will lose 1 pip per 1d6 divided by 2 per army. So it means he'll get a 1 minimum of 3 max, rounded down. So he'll roll 1 die, 1d6. That's let me see, 1d6 divided by 2. So that's 1. So he'll lose 1 pip to start off with. That's just a matter of attrition going across here and all that good stuff. All right, now we'll have the actual attack. Each side will roll 2 d6s. All right. Union rolls. Ooh, Union's got a good roll of an 11. Oh, let's do this over again. All right, well, here we go. Now, oh, let me see here. I need to go to a different set of rules. I have this all set up. All right. Both sides roll d6. Union rolls. Oh, with the, all right. I'm sorry. Take that away earlier. That -1 pip. Both sides roll d6. Union rolls with a -1 die roll modifier because of it's called a defensive breastworks die roll modifier. So he'll be rolling with a -1, and this is when they attack again. Coming over here. I told you earlier that he was going to just lose a pip automatically. No, that might have been an old mechanic. So when he rolls for his attack to represent him going against these breastworks, we'll get a -1 die roll modifier. So there's their roll. All right. Let me see here. It looks like the Union is 1. They get a -1. That's a 10. Oh, no, it's a tie. Yeah, all right. Let me see here. Ooh. Tie goes to the rebels. So if the rebels win, they lose nothing. The Union always loses the lowest die roll of all these. So the Union would lose 5 pips. Oh, this die roll by the Confederates killed them. So yeah, 5 pips would be taken off of the units coming over through here. So you can see how bloody this could be. But I have had, it all depends on the die rolls. I have had die rolls where, well, I'll show you right now. This is like really key. If the Union wins by 2 margin, so if this would have been a, let me see, it'd be a 10 because it's -1 against the breastworks. So this would have been maybe a, see, this would have been a 6 or 7. And that's a 10. They would have won. That's a 3 difference. If the Union wins by a 2 difference margin, you -3 rebel pips. Union loses the lowest roll. So this roll here, since there was a 3 greater than 3 difference, the rebels are going to lose 3 pips. But the Union always loses, no matter what. They always lose the lowest pip. So they would have lost 3. Union would have lost 2. That's how that is. So here, I'll read it from my little notes here. If the Union wins by 2 or more, -3 rebel pips. Union always loses the lowest roll. If the Union wins, but not by a 3 margin, the rebels lose 2 pips, and the Union always loses the lowest roll. If the rebels win, they lose nothing, and the Union always loses the lowest roll. So that's the way we do the attack, coming across Gettysburg. And as you can see with the mechanic, the Union are going to take some losses. But, like I said, if they can eliminate, how many brigades? I forgot here. Go to higher. Where am I at? If rebels suffer more than 2 brigade loss, they route to the roads with the Union to take in a position on the ridge. They'll move those units over here on the ridge, and all these units will go on the road. But, like I said, unless that happens, the Union are going to start out down this way. So, taking this ridge definitely has some advantages. You'll be right on their heels. The game will give the rebels a little bit of a head start. And they'll be able to have a rear guard action with their units and their strength and stuff like that. It'll be a fighting retreat, but yeah, you'd much rather be on their heels heading this way than this way. So there'll be advantages to launch an attack, although it'll be bloody, like we just seen. But there you go. That is where we're at right now with my game, and all this is totally preliminary. We're just giving you a general outline, but I'm glad I got my mechanics down, my die roll down. I'm a big fan of rolling dice. I love rolling dice. It's going to be a great game. Ooh, muddy roads. And earlier I said that was mud 2. That's actually mud 1. That's the lighter of the mud conditions if you roll for that. That affects that road there. This is mud 2. That's muddy road. That slows you down even more and gives you more fatigue. We are going to have battle cards or game cards. I've yet to make them up. That's going to be a big thing about it. Playing cards in this game. It's going to be not card-driven game, but I kind of like the way Gilbert's incorporating his cards, and his War for America game. So I think it'll be kind of based on that, where you can play at any time. Unlike Gilbert's, though, where you can play like 3 or 4 cards. On this game, you can only play 1 anytime. But there you go. All kinds of stuff to throw you some curves, throw some bad cards down that affect your opponent or help you out. We're on it. Having a great time with our Gettysburg game. We'll be back.